Hey, welcome back, guys. Episode 2 officially jump-started Unique's reign of terror against the Thomas family, as he drew first blood against the most important member of any criminal's enterprise, gearing up for what's sure to be a tactical dismembering of his old foe turned lover and now foe again. I'm here to break it all down in typical top 10 WTF fashion. My apologies for this video coming at such a late time, as I've been battling a spring cold and literally lost my voice for a week, but it's starting to return thankfully, and so am I. So before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my Patreon family. If you'd like to be the next one, hit the link pinned to the comments below. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things power. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, police press. Captain Baptiste calls Garcia into his office to discuss the commissioner's press conference and their mutual dissatisfaction with the unresolved status of Howard's murder. Hard-pressed on getting a more fitting outcome for the execution of one of their own, Baptiste grants Garcia the green light to use whatever means necessary to reach a suitable resolution. Garcia begins the onslaught against Kanan, who based on their exchange has grown used to the police mistreatment due to Famous's MIA status. We learned during their struggle that Famous has been laying low for 2 months, and Garcia makes Kanan feel where he's coming from, literally, for his ignorance in the matter. Once weakened by the brutal means, Kanan is then questioned about Howard, but to no avail for the rogue detective. WTF moment number 9, AWOL. The episode properly kicks off with Juke's next logical step in her story for this season, basic combat training. Juke endures the rigors of the United States Army, including physical exercise, verbal abuse, and weapons training. However, the tides begin to turn in her feelings towards the institution when she becomes aware of their policy against gays serving in the field, leading to her unofficial defection from basic to Atlanta. There, she would rekindle her fleeting romance with Aisha and consummate their relationship to a 90s R&B classic. WTF moment number 8, deadly misunderstanding. Marvin stops by the Asian shop to re-up on product when he bears witness to one of their extended family members attempting to steal directly in his line of sight. Marvin checks the disrespect with some help from the pistol and forces nephew Sumdim to drop his drawers and return the stolen goods, only sparing his life following Richard and Sonny's pleas that the youngin was currently facing family hardships, but not without departing with his favorite meal and extra fortune cookies, of course. WTF moment number 7, yesterday's price. Rock has an exchange with Kanan that cements to us that they're now business partners in the aftermath of the events of season 3. Kay asks his mother about inventory, which Rock confirms will come on the heels of her meeting with the supplier Quan. She later meets with her Asian business partner, only to be blindsided by a price gouge to the tune of 20% additional tax. The forceful increase all but marks the coming in to their business arrangement, as Rock would later appeal to Stefano to replace Quan as distro. Even worse, however, is the look Rock extends to Quan immediately following the news, which signals the definitive end of his short-lived journey in the Powerverse. The question I have is this: why would Quan drop such a heavy tax on Rock, seemingly out of nowhere? It could simply be the cost of doing business, but personally, I think it may have had something to do with Marvin's treatment of the Asian shop owner's nephew, Quan's extended family. In either case, we shall see. WTF moment number 6, destructive criticism. Stefano updates Marvin on the positive outcome of his last job before enlisting him for his new one. This job involves an arrogant bookie, or uppity as Stefano would likely categorize him, who's been skimming off the top of his earnings for Marchetti. Marvin finds the bookie, knocks him to the ground, and when it's apparent whose name in which he comes, is thoroughly disrespected as nothing more than a do-boy for the quote-unquote white man. This spiteful designation pierces Marvin to the core, and he responds with a few shots from old Reliable. Later, Marvin relays what transpired to Stefano, giving the Italian mob boss more ammunition in a potential case against our favorite uncle. WTF moment number 5, Lou's new groove. Following a successful rehab stint, Lou is ready to make the most of his second chance, taking his big brother Marvin's advice to, quote, find something you care about, to combat careless/reckless behavior. Lou pursues this in the form of his musical ambitions, spearheaded by Lowell Gelfin, the record company owner that pushed his last production with the now defunct Famous. Ready to breathe new life into a new artist, Lou takes on the challenge of the label's resident problem child, B. Rilla, who's currently doing a bid for armed robbery. Later, Lou pays Rilla a visit and vows to get him out in exchange for an opportunity for them to build together. This renews Lou's purpose, focus, and potential stresses to come in the name of legacy and music. WTF moment number 4, growing cancer. Mama Joyce receives an unfortunate update regarding her kidney cancer. The doctors reveal to her that it's spreading from her kidney to her lungs and other parts of her body as well. Kanan then appeals to his grandmother to not withhold the secret any longer from the rest of the family, and that she should share it in order to get help in the matter. But the question is this: why would she be afraid to tell her children of her dying status? Perhaps due to the unfortunate history that she shares with them, one that's likely filled with its own secrets, abuse, and unforgivable transgression. WTF moment number 3, dearth of fidelity. Kanan and Rock have a meeting with Snaps and Pop regarding the debt that he currently owes. Initially believing that he's square with them by paying them back what they invested, he soon learns that it's not going to be that easy to get them off of his back, as they don't want just what they invested, but they intend to make a profit off of the initial investment itself. Upset at the expensive news in real time, Kanan turns to an emotional response, only to get humbled by the wise duo and their crew, of course, with his mother having to take him out of there and school him on a part of the game he didn't intend to learn. WTF moment number 2, Feds still lurking. Rock meets with her lawyer, Andre, in order to learn more about the current state of the Fed's investigation against the Italians. And more dangerously, they're offered to Rock to flip on them in order for a get-out-of-jail-free card that will be useful when it comes time for them to prosecute Stefano. Rock also learns during the meeting that her brother Marvin has been clocked going in and out of Stefano's shop as well. But will the Queen Pin turn snitch if the time ever presented itself? Or if she needed to protect her family more so than her name in the streets? I guess we'll see. And WTF moment number 1, a lawyer without defense. In Unique's first murderous act of the season, he tracks down Andre Barnes, the most important person to Rock outside of her brothers and business partners. A lawyer's job is to shield their client from any pending investigation or other legal dangers, and Unique took him off the board in violent fashion, knocking him to the ground of his own home and shooting him twice in the back of the head. Now the question remains, what will the blowback of such an action bring? As Andre wasn't just a character in his own right, but he has secret contacts and moles inside of these various organizations, who definitely will want an answer for their fallen comrade. It's going to be interesting to see the trickle-down effect from his death. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. Nick goes through several torturous sequences in this episode, each one displaying regret and anguish over never being able to reclaim his old life and being foolish to compromise it for the woman who betrayed him for the new one. Remember, Nick doesn't have the full story, and his misjudgments are just as harmful to his current mental state as the things he knows to be true. Kanan's disagreement with Snaps and Pop was intense on its own merit, but it also lent much insight into his forthcoming transgressions against his own mother, Rock. Understanding that no dialogue is without consequence in the Powerverse, Snaps and Pop quickly assessed the lacking moral character of Kanan in business, pointing out that the young wolf not only lacks regard for agreements, but for his own mother, leaving them apprehensive of his future capabilities. What might we see Kanan do to Rock in the name of selfish gain as this season unfolds? The police commissioner attributed Detective Howard and Ronnie's deaths to foreign nationals. Given that the feds were working with the NYPD to infiltrate Stefano Marchetti and any known associates, that means that the commissioner placed blame on the Italians for the dual deaths. This is just one more breadcrumb towards Marchetti's fall and any one of our characters too close to him. It's not looking good for Marvin if their unauthorized association continues. I figured that Crystal's baby wouldn't make it to see the light of day in the Powerverse, not simply because Crystal bears no resemblance to Kanan's real baby mother depicted in OG Power, but also due to the recent track record of babies in Power, such as Diana's from Ghost. New life is a good sign in general, but an omen in Power lore historically. And finally, Lou's return to his place of residence was a deep scene that found a reformed man confronted by the lingering demons of old. It was wise of him to immediately begin cleaning up the filth left behind by a man that no longer exists, lest those demons remanifest by way of the physical residue. But that will do it for this one. What were your thoughts on episode 2? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us. Hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.